This is Sky Blues Extra.
Hello everybody, welcome to Sky Blues Extra after this afternoon's lunchtime kickoff versus Watford, a 0-0 goalless draw. Sees the Sky Blues take a point against one of the, promotion favourites, shall we say, in Watford. Although, to be honest, they didn't pretty much show that today. Ross is alongside me. Ross, how are you?
I'm right. My body clock's all skew with now because I'm looking at it and it's 2:39. I'm thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't like these early kickoffs, if I'm honest. It just sort of leaves a massive void for the rest of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you've had a positive sort of result, then I sort of go, oh, you know what? I can enjoy the rest of my Saturday, and I feel pretty good. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, on the grand scheme of things, a point is good against Watford, isn't it? We're looking at these group of fixtures thinking where we're going to pick up points. Potentially this being a home game, this was going to be one. But, I'm just sitting here, like Charlie Nicholas, I'm sitting here thinking that we could have taken away 3 points there. It's probably another one of those games this season where we just haven't been clinical enough.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those, and I think before the game we would have all took a point. I remember seeing Wardy's tweet and other people. We were fearful of this Watford side.
Yeah.
I felt good even after Tuesday or Wednesday's defeat, whatever day it was. I felt good because Watford lost to QPR. I didn't think there was anything to fear. Other fans were really scared. I would have took a point before the game, but when you see a game unfold in the way that it did, I mean, I thought they were poor, and I thought I thought we were really, and that's credit to us. I thought we actually showed confidence from the first whistle, we're pretty much to the last. We had by far the best chances. Their only real chance was from, and if that had gone in, I'm not sure I'd have been able to do the live because that was a Alan. We'd have shot ourselves in the foot again. I mean, that was their only opportunity. You take that away, and I thought we defended really well, and it was just lacking that final. I mean, Hyam could have had a brace. I mean, we'll get into the game in more detail, but yeah, it's one of those where you can't help be disappointed not to win, but I'm pleased with the point.
Absolutely. I think we showed enough today. I mean, our application, I thought, was first class, and some of the spaces we were finding, O'Hare and Allen and Hamer in particular, was great. And that was a stark contrast to Watford, wasn't it? I mean, I thought their body language was absolutely shocking for 9 on 85 minutes. Two players in their team are worth 20 to 30 million. And they
saying they signed that South for 40 million. He was volleying stuff over the bar, and he just didn't look interested. And and Da Costa had so much space.
Yeah,
and I guess that was, and Robbins would probably say it because Mark Robbins always says pretty much what we see as fans. And I felt there was a few opportunities where we didn't get the ball out to Da Costa when he had acres, like literally the whole of. I think the commentators said on Sky, half of St Andrews pretty much. He had that whole side because the winger wasn't tracking back. And obviously, the one time we did get it to him in the first half, he put that pinpoint cross in for Max, and I jumped out my seat. I thought it was in. Oh,
you couldn't really see it until the ball had gone to the other side of the goal.
Well, because it all went behind the goal. I thought, it nestled along the back of the net. And I was like, and I was just thinking, why is Max not celebrating?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was. I agree that Watford. If I was a Watford fan, I'd be very, very disappointed.
Absolutely. Obviously, Sky Blues Extra is your show as well as ours, so we do have some key discussions today. Obviously, we want to hear your thoughts on today's performance against Watford. What did we do well? What didn't we do well? Get your comments in. We'll read out the best on air. We're also going to be looking at man of the match later on. I think there's a clear standout from the Sky Blues point of view, but we'll go into that into a little bit more detail. And what changes would you make for our next game against Cardiff, which is a week today? Right, let's go through some of the comments off the bat. Michael Large, good to have you with us. Michael, story of the season, just not clinical enough. Absolutely. And he's also saying that he would have took the point at the start of the game, just like we mentioned. John, we deserve 3 points. Good performance by the Sky Blues. Yeah. I mean, it was a good performance. There was probably only maybe one or two, weren't to the rest of the team's performance, let's say. But overall, very satisfactory performance, especially with the amount of people we've got missing. Again, we'll talk about that. O'Hare, I thought, had a standout game. Again, all over the field. Closing down, it was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. O'Hare was... We just become accustomed to it, don't it? His work rate is exceptional.
And that chance he fashioned as well, where he took on the defender, stood him up, and probably should
I
have done
saw it.
better with the actual chance, really.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was sort of unlucky. He had that other really good effort in the second half with his left foot,
Yeah,
and it just felt like that was the story. I felt like when we hit the target, everything just seemed to be straight down the keeper's throat. Whether it be
yeah,
Hyam's header in the second half straight at him, I think if that's either side, it's a goal. The same if O'Hare manages that one, like you say in the first half, where he skips past the guy. I think if he just bends that bit more, I think that's in. So yeah, no, he played really well again, and I really was just urging for O'Hare to score. I feel
yeah.
like a goal. I think those assists in the last 2 games prior to today had helped him, but I think a goal would do massive for his confidence.
Absolutely. I need to give a shout out to their keeper, who I thought had a decent game today. Good position in play by him, in place of Ben Foster, obviously in the goal. So there won't be any YouTube video from Ben for this one. Nige saying one thing missing, same as midweek, just that lack of goals. It always comes back to that lack of goals. We create opportunities, and it's just somebody who can change those half chances into full chances, isn't it?
We've got. I think we've got 2 of those 10 or 12 goal season players, but they're both injured, and
Yeah.
I think that's the. I think it's not like we're fully strength and we're going. We've got all these strikers who can't score. I think we have got strikers who can score. They're just been injured. And I think we've had, like even the commentator said that we must fall in that category of being most affected by injuries in a negative way. And so, again, I think it's just remarkable. I said it last week with you, Dino, and I know Dave and Wardy spoke about it on the podcast. The job Mark Robbins is doing and where we are in the table, considering the injuries. I mean, it sounds like Matty Godden's going to be out pretty much the season, isn't it? If he can't walk and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I think we have got the players. I just think we've just not been able to use and get them on the pitch.
The Matty Godden situation is not ideal. I actually feel for his career rather than just this season. To be honest, yeah, it could be a career threatening one. From what I hear, obviously, hopefully not the case, but those type of injuries are difficult to overcome, and it takes a lot of professional sports people out, runners especially. That kind of injury takes them out of the game completely. Ken, good performance, should have won on chances, but happy with a clean sheet. Yep, most definitely. Clean sheet, another point towards that safety position. We both said last week 43, 44, 45 is what we should be aiming at as a minimum to survive. It still looks to be the case, I know, rather than winning midweek, but I mean that was a fluke result from all intents and purposes from what I saw. Sonny played very well, should have won comfortably. Hammer was superb, class, and James was just off the charts, wasn't he, today?
Oh, Matty James was. It's just his defensive positioning. It's the things he does, and we spoke about it last week. Intelligent players do the stuff you don't see because it's off the ball, but he just drops in the right place to clear it. I mean, some of the defending he did against Sarr when they had a couple of threatened to counter-attack, and he sort of just diffused this situation, and they didn't even get a half chance from it. But that was all down to Matty James, and I feel like he's always pointing. But I feel like him, Alan O'Hare, and Hamer as that box, I thought were really good. But he's obviously
a lot of energy there, wasn't there?
There was a lot of energy, and I think that really helps. And I feel like you've got, and it's fair, Matty James. I think he gets around the pitch well.
Yeah.
Like for someone. He was a little bit older than the other players around him, and obviously had his injury problems. I think he looks really sharp.
There's a lot of talk about his fitness levels. I mean, you look at when he stood that player up in the 88th minute there today. That was absolutely superb.
But for Barnsley, he was getting hauled off after 65, 70 minutes, wasn't it? And there was that sort of thing of, is that all he can do? Is he a 70-minute man? But he showed. I mean, he looked as fit as a fiddle, didn't he? Come the final whistle. So, no, I thought he was class, and I think he does the simple things. He slows it down when needed. He's composed. He doesn't rush, and he's decision making, which is what. And I think the commentators alluded to it. We've got a young team. Sometimes our other players make the wrong choice. For example, that Allen passed back to McCallum, which almost led to a goal.
Yeah,
I don't see Matty James making those errors. He knows what's around him. He knows what's the right thing to do, and our other players will learn that hopefully from him. It's the same with Liam Kelly when he's fit. It's the same situation.
Absolutely. And we'll just read one more comment before we go to one of our callers who are waiting in the wings there. Wardy, could have got more, but a brilliant performance, a great point, praying for the results to go our way. I mean, that's one good thing about an early kickoff. We can sort of sit back, relax, and see what happens this afternoon to see what our relegation opposition around us are going to do themselves.
Oh, absolutely. But like you said, Dino, a point, for me, there was no such thing as a bad point. At the end of the day, a point is a point on the board. We're on 31 points, and in front of me, I've got the season we went down. We won 9 games all season. We are 9 points better off now than what we were the year we went down. And the thing is, everyone would have took 21st. I was thinking about this the other day. I went on a long walk, and I was just thinking about it. We
How
would have all
long?
took. It was 45,000 steps.
Wow.
It was quite a long one, yeah. But that's a different story. But then I was thinking about it, thinking we'd have all took 21st place, right, at the start of the season. We would have all said, even if a goal goes in off the back of someone's backside on the last day and we survive on goal difference, we take it, and it's been a success. So if we all expect that, then of course we're going to lose games. The team who finishes 21st, 20th, 19th are going to lose matches, and are going to have poor performances. So it's sort of like where we expect. I feel like we're doing better than what.
Oh yeah, we're
we
way
do.
overachieving. Yeah,
and you look at the season we went down. We finished on 40 points, so we're 9 points off what we finished that entire season with.
And the league's gone another level since when we went down. The standard of play and the players that are in the championship now compared to what it was 8-9 years ago is just another level. It's a much harder division now.
It is, but if you look at the points, like the team who's finishing 21st, it's not Barnsley that season 48, and you go through it. I like we said, I think 45, 46 will be enough, and today is a point would have been brilliant to get 3, but we got a point and we move on. And everyone talks about this really tough run, but Cardiff, we beat them before. They have not won since McCarthy took charge. I mean, I don't think there's anything to fear. There is absolutely nothing to fear in my mind next week.
Absolutely not. Let's go to one of our calls. We've got a couple waiting. We'll come to Glenn soon. But first of all, we'll bring Josh into the fold. Josh, you're live on Sky Blues Extra. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, afternoon, lads.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, disappointed that Villa won, but apart from that, all good.
What about the performance from the Sky Blues there today? You would have taken a point, surely.
Yes, definitely for me. It's a point gained rather than 2 points lost. I mean, yes, I thought we were much better than Watford today and could have easily gone on to win that with the amount of chances we had. But the thing is, it's the resources that both teams have that just makes me think we've definitely gained a point there. I mean, the quality and depth, the amount of players that Watford could bring on compared to us, there's just no comparison.
Frightening at times, isn't it, when you look at their bench?
Absolutely, and particularly with the fact that we're even without the injuries, I think we would be struggling. But the amount of injuries we have got, I just think we should be cherishing that point today. I'm happy with it.
What do you think was the best aspect of our play today? I thought we created chances at will at times. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the midfield is starting to look really, really strong now. Really, that's definitely the strongest aspect of our play. I think O'Hare for me was. I mean, I'm going to say something controversial, but I think. I think Hamer's brilliant, don't get me wrong. But I think there is an argument to say O'Hare is our player of the season at the moment. I just think the amount of work he does off the ball, and I appreciate he's not scoring enough, and hopefully that will come. But, he creates enough chances, and the amount of work, he does to get in front of players to create trouble. If we had 11 players with his work rate, we wouldn't be worried about relegation at all. So I thought he was brilliant. Matty James obviously was outstanding today. I mean, the points where it looked to me like Watford were going to create something dangerous, and I was getting worried. He was always there, sweeping up. I mean, I can count sort of 3 occasions where he was just there protecting the defence, very much playing that Liam Kelly role. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Mark Robins, looking towards the summer, if we stay up and if we survive, he will be wanting to bring Matty James in as the sort of heir to Liam Kelly. And then obviously Hamer. I mean, he does have.
He gave the ball away a bit today, didn't he? Hamer,
yeah. I'm not being down on the guy. He's worth weight in gold. Yeah. But he has hot and cold moments. He definitely does. He has moments of brilliance, and then there are other moments where you think, could you have done better there?
He puts us in trouble, doesn't he? Sometimes with those moments that are class, that if they don't come off, then it's risky. Isn't it? It's the risk and reward.
Tricks, yeah,
absolutely. Sometimes there was a few occasions today where he's because ironically he's one of the only players to really have that sort of quality to play the Hollywood ball. there are times when you think, oh God, don't play the Hollywood ball because it can get us into trouble and we can get hit on the counter. So, he doesn't have the patience sometimes, I think, in terms of the build-up play that perhaps, an O'Hare or one of our other midfielders would. So sometimes that can be brilliant. Sometimes it causes risks. But don't get me wrong, he's one of our top 3 players, and we're brilliant. We're delighted to have him in the midfield. So yeah, definitely our midfield is just by far and away the strongest aspect of our play. We up front, it's still a problem. I mean, I was surprised to me, it doesn't look like Biamu has 90 minutes in him at the moment.
He's carrying that injury, isn't he? To be fair,
Yeah,
so he probably
exactly.
doesn't have that 90 minutes, and he's not going to give you a complete performance with an injury. That's for sure.
Precisely, which is why it surprised me. I don't get me. I love Biamu to bits. He's the player who's really gone through the journey with us, but Mark Robins should recognise that he doesn't have it in the tank at the moment to do the 90 minutes. So one, obviously you want to avoid any further injury, but two, if you could tell today once the balls were getting up, he just didn't have it in him to make that extra effort. It made sense to me to just make a change, maybe at 60 minutes with how do you say, Gutierrez, or however you want to say.
I can't say it either, mate. So you just call him Big Vic.
Yeah,
Big Vic. So yeah, that was a bit baffling to me. I also feel, I mean, the change for bringing on O'Hare and
it was a little baffling, wasn't it?
And Hamer, because the only thing is, I thought. Well, one of the key aspects of our players, I thought we looked dangerous on the break. There were a few occasions today where I thought, oh, hang on a minute, we could really create something here because Watford are going to really go for it. And I thought you could tell going to the last 5 minutes that they were keen to get the 3 points, obviously. And I thought we could sort of sucker punch them ourselves here if we keep O'Hare, who's obviously brilliant in those sort of situations, and Hamer could produce a bit of magic. So I was surprised by that. But like I said, it's a point gained, and I'm happy with it.
I want to get your thoughts on this comment that Rich has just sent in. Is it the frustration that the team teases with it being something more? Do you feel the same way? Like, we create so much, and then we just don't finish it off, right?
But would we be saying that if we had either Tyler Walker or Godden with us at the moment?
Probably not.
That's the thing.
But,
so I think it's about the resources. I mean, if we had a clinical finisher or someone who had the intelligence of Godden, that movement that he possesses. I look back to it's a bit of a niche memory, but the goal, the header against Reading. At the start of the season, where there was a ball across him, and his movement was so intelligent to create a goal out of nothing. And I thought if we had that all season, I don't think we'd be even close to relegation that we are now. So I think that's just where we are, and it is frustrating because you're right. We were on the cusp of so many good chances today. But we just don't have the strikers, and this is why we have to see it as a point gained. And it's nothing against Biamu or Big Vic, but we are where we are because we've only just come up to this level. And if you look at Watford and look who they had to bring on in the final half hour, there's no comparison. So yes, it is frustrating. I completely agree with it. But I think we have to accept we are where we are.
Absolutely. It's that grind now, isn't it, to the end of the year? Can we just stay in this division and then let's reevaluate, reassess, and we go again next year? But for all intents and purposes, whatever we do, we just need to stay in this league.
Well, it's not as spectacular as perhaps last season, but you could very easily make the argument. He's won us a Checkatrade trophy. He's got us promoted from League One. He's got us promoted from League Two. But if Mark Robins keeps us up this season, that will be his greatest achievement.
Yes, I agree.
Tenure with us.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And that won't gather, the mass celebrations that perhaps the League One promotion will. But we have to recognise that because
it should do, because it's going to be 60 to 70 million pound in the funds for next year, effectively, with the prize TV money going massively up next year.
Precisely, and we all have faith in Robins. He has a long-term plan. He's relatively reliable on the transfer market. He has the odd one, but But
even so, Alex had the odd one. Let's be honest.
Exactly. So like I said, I think if we well, I think you guys have mentioned it. If we become 21st, it will be, we should be having another DJ party on the roof.
We should.
If that happens.
With
I'm
Paul
gonna get
Morrell
Ross on-
DJing.
Let's get Ross on the decks.
I'll do it. Well, I mean, I completely agree, Josh. I think, and as we spoke about the injuries that we've been dealt, we've had Dabo. He was injured at the start, sort of got going, looked like he was getting close to his best, then he's injured again. Godden came back against Millwall, got injured again. Da Costa, I mean, brilliant. I mean, I completely agree. How many times did we put balls in the box and it just feels a bit static? Like there's not enough movement. And even at the, when he brought on Shipley and Gyökeres or Victor, we had a couple of chances there, didn't we? We were breaking. Gyökeres, is that it? I've been listening to Clive and Oggy. You see, I rang them up and asked them how you pronounce it. But we had a couple of breaks and Shipley had fresh legs, and I thought,
didn't run, did it?
And I just thought, it's literally almost 2v2 here, and there's just, and I think it speaks a lot about Max. I completely agree. He looked out of energy towards the end, but it just speaks volumes that at the start of the season we thought he was done. He was not. He was like fourth choice, and now Robbins doesn't even want to take him off. He wants to leave him on the pitch. I mean, it speaks volumes for him and how hard he's worked to get in the side.
Absolutely, yeah.
Josh. The only thing I was going to say is, I said this right before the match when Godden got injured, which is that I'm not saying we don't play the formation, but I hope Robbins is considering that when we play one up front, that is risking injury, because I think it takes so much more out of those strikers. So like I said, sometimes it's a formation that's worked for us. It's in that good streak throughout October, it helped us. But I do think that we have to make sure we don't spend our strikers' energies really with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something I brought up on a podcast after the Norwich game. Actually, that we played Biamu in that game for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We probably wasn't gonna win the game. We're not gonna win the cup. Our priority was to stay in the league, and playing him in that game where we could have saved another 90 minutes energy from him. I think that was the wrong call from Robbins, but he obviously knows best. He's the man in charge, and we've got to stick with him, right?
He does, but like I said, I'm not even saying it's I'd be anti the formation. I just hope that the management are, and I'm sure they are, considering the effect it has on our players up front, particularly when we're so light with it. But,
absolutely. Josh, thanks very much for coming on. Great input. Really enjoyed the chat. Hopefully you can come on next week. After the Cardiff game.
Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
I want to get on for a win at some point. So.
Hopefully next week.
Next week.
Yeah, that'll be
fingers crossed.
Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Josh.
Cheers, mate. Speak soon.
Yeah, so I mean, some really incredible points there that Josh made. It's so important that we reserve the energy now of the big players, of your Hamers, your O'Hares. Biamu's okay, didn't score enough goals. That's a given, but we're going to have to rely on him now until the end of the season, because
he does a good job. I feel
like
he won fouls.
Back. Yeah,
he won some. I would have loved to. I tell you, this is totally. I'd have loved to have seen. I'd have took off Biamu today. And I'd have put on this young lad, this Tavares. Do you know what? Because he's supposed to have pace, and I just feel like on the counter attack, even just the space that Shipley and Gyökeres at the time had. What can this kid do wrong with it? Just run, mate. Use your pace and run at them. I mean, I just feel like when you look on our bench, where's the pace?
Yeah, you think Norwich, Watford would have been zapped of all their energy. Dealing with Biamu, O'Hare's movement all game. A little bit of pace towards the end of the match. It could have changed everything completely.
Oh, yeah, completely. Talking of Deeney, big shout out. I thought Ostergaard was fantastic against him today. I thought he won everything. And actually, I was sort of begging that those Hyam headers fell to Ostergaard. I mean, because they didn't today. But no, he was brilliant. He looked well up for the battle, and I think that was. I think, he looked class in that central of the three. I thought Michael Rose was very good again for this first sort of start in ages. So I thought there was real positives. I really do.
It's great confidence going into next week. We just come off that, agonising defeat in midweek, where, to be honest, we probably didn't deserve to lose that game. And again, just the quality lacking in that match, which story of the season really, to an extent. But great confidence now. That's a confidence building result going into that Cardiff game next week, isn't it?
Well, exactly. If you think back to when we played Forest and Watford before, we conceded the sucker punch against Forest in the last minute, and then we went to Watford, lost 3-2, and we conceded the sucker punch again with a penalty in the last minute. This time, of course, Forest was gutting, but we got a point today, and I feel like the players will take a lot of confidence from that and actually go, look, you've outplayed a team who's fourth in the league.
Yeah.
You don't need to fear anyone. We've got tough games coming up, but bring them on. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Talking to bring them on, let's bring on our next guest. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Glenn Goran Eriksson. Glenn, nice to have you with us again on SkyBluesExtra. How you doing?
I actually enjoyed that. I actually think the last, game and a half, we look like we've got a bit of the magic back we had last season. We look like the team we were last season. And I watched a bit of Castaner last night playing for Hearts, and he was strolling around the pitch disinterested, and he looked like half the Watford team, and they were just some's Castaner up. He blocked a shot that was going in top corner off their own player. That's Castaner. But yeah, their body language was appalling, and
for a team chasing promotion, it's just beggars belief how they apply themselves today.
They were so open. I don't know how much was them not putting the shift in, or it was us playing well, but they gave us so much time on the ball, and we had a field day. And I honestly think if we'd had Walker or somebody with a better pace for the last 10 minutes, I think the times that Victor and Ship, I think if that Tavares or Gibello or anyone who just has a bit of physicality and speed, we'd have got in and got a chance. And that was the thing with the subs. I just think we kind of handed the initiative back to him. I think once Da Costa went off, the left winger got more in the game, and that's not a slight on Pask. He's not going to play as high up as Da Costa was. And I just think him playing high up seems to stretch the pitch, and it gives O'Hare that space. It gives Hamer that space, James, because they can't stay narrow. Some teams do against us, and I think it was good. It's just a shame he's gone off injured, Da Costa, and it didn't look too clever.
It looks like it's just a migraine rather than any sort of injury. So that's a good sign, hopefully. But you say, that right hand side of the pitch, I completely forgot we had Gibello on the bench there today. When Da Costa comes off, can we get Gibello into the game? Because the space on that wing for the majority of the game was just outrageous. Space that Gibello could have, utilised his pace, bit of trickery, and who knows, we could have conjured up something from that right hand side.
Yeah, I just worry about just flogging the players too much. He seems to, like Alan scored against Sheffield Wednesday, and we haven't seen him for 2 games. He come in today, and I thought he was really good, bar the one moment of madness. But I thought he looked really, really good for us, and his attitude is right, and he puts the shift in, and we looked like the team we were last season, where we pressed teams and put the work rate in, and we've kind of got the 3 that run and press with Max, and James just sits and organises it and anchors everything together, and the back 3 looks solid. I think Morosi's hardly had a save of note, bar the one that we give him, basically. I think Andre Gray and Deeney spent more time trying to get in a fight with Ostergaard than he did anything of note.
And he's scrapping now in the car park.
Well, he just seemed to be playing wherever he wanted, Deeney, and that just I'll be amazed if they go up, Watford. I'll be very surprised. I thought Bournemouth were a bit of a shambles with their recent results, but they look just as bad.
I think Dongerman summed them up, didn't he? Like they're not going to get to automatics playing how they are. If they get to the playoffs, they're not going to get through the playoffs playing how they are. So we should. I know they're no mugs, but it kind of feels like we could have got a bit more out of that today. They were there for the taking, weren't they?
That's a frustration, but on the positives, we've got a point, and we're disappointed with a point. If we'd absolutely stanked the game out and been absolutely battered, and they'd hit the woodwork and post, and Morosi had pulled 10 wonder saves off, you'd probably be a bit more downbeat and say we've got away with it. I think the last aside from Reading and even spells against Reading, we had chances. I don't think we've been absolutely probably appalling in a game probably since Preston. Really, I think most of the other games we've played this season, we've been pretty much all right in the game.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
The positive on it.
How confident do you go into? I've just seen that Rotherham have gone 1-0 up against Preston, which isn't great. A first-minute goal for Rotherham. So hopefully Preston can bring that back for us. That's just sitting on tenterhooks now for the rest of the day, looking at the results. But confidence-wise, into next Saturday, Cardiff. We performed against them early in the season with a victory. There's no reason why we can't do that again, right, Glenn?
That's all right. I'm quite happy Preston are losing because I've got them at 33-1 to go down.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So because they're the one, I think there's a couple just above the top, and Cardiff are in that batch who I think could drop. I think Cardiff are probably very predictable. They're just going to put balls in the box against us, and we probably got the 3 centre halves now to deal with the aerial threat. I think it's just probably out wide. You just got to be careful because obviously they've got Harry Wilson, and you've just got to manage DaCosta that he doesn't leave us exposed and give Harry Wilson free rein down that side. But they're another team who I think aren't in
Cardiff
great
haven't
form.
won. Cardiff haven't won since the 16th of December. So it's nearly 60 days since they've won a match. So there's no reason why we can't take them on Saturday and get a result there. That's for sure. What do you think was the plus point from today's performance? Anyone that stood out for you?
I'll probably say Jamie Allen, just because I think he's one who probably wasn't in the picture, and he came back in and shown the right attitude, just got his head down, and he looked promising. And I actually think O'Hare, he looked the O'Hare of last season, where he was unlucky. He had a couple of good shots, and on another day he gets a bit of luck and it will drop for him. But if we get a proper goal scorer back with the way we're playing, we're going to score goals, and we're creating chances. And I think as long as you're creating chances, you've always got a chance of staying up. And there's other teams below us in the league who aren't scoring as many goals as we are. Mm-hmm. I think we've got the best record for goals scored besides Rotherham. And I just look at other teams. I think Rotherham have hit form, but have they hit form too soon? And Derby have got another game to make up. I just think it's wide open, but I'm disappointed if we go down. But I think if we go down, it will be due to circumstances out of our control, because we've had players out injured for long term. It won't be for a lack of effort or a lack of trying. It'll be for a lack of quality that are sitting in the sidelines, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Glenn, brilliant to have you on again with us on SkyBluesExtra. Hopefully you can join us again next Saturday after, hopefully, what's a positive 3 points for the Sky Blues. Thanks very much, mate.
Yes, lads. See you later.
Cheers, Glenn.
Cheers, Glenn. It's the age-old concern, isn't it, Ross? You don't score, you don't win matches. And he's summed that up perfectly there, Glenn, we create chances, and if we had a goal scorer, we'd be in a totally different position.
Well, exactly. And, I think we'd be like way mid-table, if we had a goal scorer. But you actually look at the table, a win today, or how do we beat Forest, and we would be there. Do you know what I mean? We'd be where we would have only dreamed to have been at the start of the season. So I actually think it's in our hands. I'm not too concerned about the other results, because we saw Rotherham. They looked horrendous when we played them. And obviously that was one game. And yes, they're having a little purple patch, if you like. But I'm not too concerned.
What about concern of Sheffield Wednesday and Forest have just both scored to go 1-0 as well?
Well, no. The way I look at it is we've got to play Rotherham again. We've got to play Wickham again. We've got to play Huddersfield. We've got to play Preston, Barnsley, Millwall, Cardiff next week. Derby again. We've got to play Derby. So it's in our hands. We need to get to 45 points.
We win on Saturday. If the results stay as they are now, we win on Saturday. We move up to 13th in the league. I mean, that's how bonkers this season is going to be. It's going to be so tight, so anxious, and so nervy. And we've just got to go with the flow and stick with it. It's going to be a hell of a ride until the end of the season.
It is. Yeah, it is going to be a hell of a ride. But I think because there was this big thing made about February, and look, the rest of February still looks very, very tough. But a defeat here, and then you go to Cardiff and you lose, and then suddenly you go, oh, we've got Norwich, we've got Brentford, we've got all these teams. It could mount up, and February could leave us in a position where you actually then go into March thinking we have to win these games now. Look, today's a start. If we can go next week and pick up a win, I would have took 6 points out of February. We've got one already. So if we can get another win and another draw, even 5, I actually go, you know what? We're 5 points closer to the safety mark. That's what we've got to look at. And we've got games. We've got plenty of games to get there.
I think Wardy said it great earlier. I think he said there's 56 points still to play for, and effectively we need 15 to 20. And I think, I don't care if we shit ass our way to 15 draws, to be honest, over those fixtures.
It doesn't matter, mate. We've got to get a point a game, and we've already got more than a point a game. We've played 28 games. We've got 31 points.
Yeah. So
we've got 18 more matches. If we can get less than a point a game, we can get 0.9 points a game, and we'll survive. That's the way, and we got a point today. Happy days. 4 or 5 wins would do it.
Yeah, that's all we're going to aim for.
I'm just excited for the summer and get all these new signings in. I believe we're going to do it. I honestly believe it.
Listen, I don't think we're going to go down. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near to going down, if I'm perfectly honest. I just think we're just going to stick it out and grind our way there. And there's going to be bumps in the road, that's for sure. Let's just enjoy it, embrace it. Win the championship.
Yeah, well,
it's a big scrap. There's probably 13 teams looking to fill up 3 positions.
The one thing I think we've had this year, we had that little spell, I think it was maybe 5 games without a win or something, when we played Bournemouth and Brentford and Middlesbrough. But every time I did these memory lane pieces, and every time I look at these old seasons, there are some horrendous runs where I just see red all the way down, and somehow we finish 14th, and I'm thinking, how on earth did we finish there? So this season, even if we do lose 3 of the next 5 games, every year we have this huge patch of red when I look down the fixtures, and I think, what is going on? Do you know what I mean? How on earth did we, whether that's Premier League, League One, Championship, whenever these games are from, normally it's from a season where it's gone, we went on a 12-game winless run under Peter Reid or something, and this season we've not done that. We've managed to pick up the wins here and there, and I think the worst unbeaten, winless run is 5-6 games or something like that. So if we can pick up a win next week, buzz in, and we go again. If Walker can get back before the end of February, I think that would just be a huge boost to everybody.
It'll lift the club, won't it? If we can get a couple of these injured players back through the door. Even Kelly now is running apparently, so it won't be too long before we see him back in the fold either.
Well, exactly, and of course, it's easy to forget Ben Sheaf today. He wasn't in the squad. And of course, Fads was back on the bench today. So
Ben Sheaf's had his doubters this season, but to me, I think he's been one of our standout performers. And again, a bit like O'Hare and Hammer, sometimes they drift in and out of games, but I think he's shown his quality to an extent this year.
Well, he's a young player as well. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? These young players, there is inconsistencies, and I think with Sheaf, it's one moment of class. And then he's sort of, it's like he takes one step forward and then one little one back, with a little mistake. But if he can eradicate those, then we'll see a really good player, But I think we missed him today? Not particularly. I actually thought the midfield looked really good.
Yeah, I think you looked fine today. There was energy, there was application, there was quality. It was just that final getting the ball across the line, and that's the be all and end all, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's it at the end of the day, and you just got to hope that if you keep creating those opportunities, sooner rather than later they'll go in.
Right, let's bring another guest in. We've got Ken waiting to come in. How you doing, Ken?
Hello, mate. All right. How are you?
Yeah, all good. First of all, I want to talk about, because I know you're a Sunday League referee. Yes. I want to talk about the referee's performance today. Okay. Did you think he did a good job?
I thought he did okay. He could have probably given a couple more yellow cards because they were a bit dirty, I thought, at times. But overall, I thought the referee did all right. I thought, considering some of the referees we've had this season, I thought he did okay. Yeah. How about you? What do you think?
I completely disagree. I thought he had a horrific
really?
game. Yeah.
Well, what did he do?
I thought he was great.
I thought Deeney should have probably been off. There's a couple of flying out arms and elbows going all over the shop. But this whole backing into defenders is doing my head in. This whole Harry Kane sort of it's rubbing off on other players now. just backing in. Someone's going to get seriously hurt if that continues, and they've got to put a stop to it at some point. But I just thought there was at times that niggly fouls. I mean, Andre Gray could have been sent off for that challenge in the first half where he only got a yellow card.
Yes, I agree with that one. Yeah, I mean, he was very lucky to get a yellow there because that was a studs up, I thought. But it goes on in the Championship. There's a lot of poor referees in the Championship. I mean, if I was refereeing that sort of game on a Sunday, I'd get dogs abuse. Yeah,
I was about to say you get a hell of a lot of abuse at Coventry in District League, that's for sure. But, what about the performance of the Sky Blues? Are you happy with that point?
Yeah, you're asking me now after the game. I'm happy. Before the game, I would have been happy with the point. To be fair, and a clean sheet, yes, I would have been happy. But looking at the game overall, I thought we were the better team. I thought Watford were poor, considering where they are in the league and the players they've got to choose from, considering they've got their squad to ours. And I thought we were very lucky not to nick the game. Really, we had chances. It just wasn't quite clinical enough to take the chances. I thought, and I thought if Matty Godden or maybe Walker were playing today, one of those chances I think probably would have gone in.
Pretty much like we're parrots the whole way through this season, aren't we? Just continuing the same. If Godden was there, if Walker was there, we would have been a completely different scenario. And I wouldn't say touching the playoffs, but at least we'd be comfortable mid-table. That's for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I thought Matty James, by the way, was a man of match today. He was outstanding at the back. He marshalled the defence, and we've got a young team. You've got to remember, we've got a young team, and we're going to make mistakes. And to have an old head like him in there organising stuff is a fantastic signing by Robbins. And hopefully, maybe next year he's out of contract at Leicester. Maybe we can keep hold of him.
As we were about to say, that is a stroke of genius for Mark Robbins. I think Ross said it a couple of weeks ago. Having someone of Matt James's quality coming into a side at this point of the season is absolutely vital, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because he's a Liam Kelly type player, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you think they can play together, them two?
It'd be interesting to see if they could. I mean, they're sort of very similar players, aren't they? It wouldn't probably give it a go. They're very similar players, but you can't beat experience, as they say, can you? And to have two old heads in there, probably better than one.
Absolutely. Looking ahead then to Cardiff, obviously Saturday, we should go into that game with no fear, right?
No, I think Cardiff are there to be beaten, to be honest. Mick McCarthy's took over there, and I think they haven't sort of set the league alight, have they, to be honest? They've been very inconsistent. I can't see any reason why we can't get 3 points against them, because we've got some tough games coming up against your Brentfords and your Norwich. So that's the game, really, we've got to look to get 3 points from. And anything else after that is going to be a bonus, I think.
Wouldn't it be typical, though, of Cov for Mick McCarthy to get his first victory against the Sky Blues?
Yeah, I know, that's just our look. And I was thinking that during the game today, and when Watford had those couple of chances at the end, I thought they're not going to nick it here, and I would have been fuming, because they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve anything out of the game, did they? Really?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you look at the squads. I mean, they're a 60 to 80 million pound squad compared to probably ours is under 10 million. Probably as a club, we're under 10 million.
Yeah, and De Costa, what a player he's what a player he's been the last couple of matches. And he's fantastic again today. I don't think we got the ball to him enough though sometimes. No. That was our problem. He was there, he was always available, and it was just a shame he had to go off. And hopefully he's not going to be out for too long. He looked a bit groggy, didn't he, when he was?
Hopefully he'll be back next week, because he was good, wasn't he, today?
He was good,
He's sort of been like, again, he's another signing who's very stop-start, wasn't he, at the start of the season? Couldn't get, he was injured in pre-season, and we've never really got to see him.
No,
so it feels like, it does feel like a new signing,
it
to
does,
have someone suddenly actually play, and go, actually, he's good going forward. He put a good challenge in the first half, I remember, on the far side. So he looks pretty sound, actually. He looks very confident on the ball, which compared to when we played Norwich in the FA Cup, remember Dino slated him for his first half performance in that one. And I thought he grew into the game. I thought he showed glimpses there. And actually, then we saw it against Forest. And then today, I thought he's growing, isn't he, game by game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a player of that quality, he's got quality. You can tell he's got quality, and he obviously needs a bit of game time, and he's starting to get it now. And certainly, the last two performances against Forest and again today, he looked the part, didn't he? And he's causing Watford all sorts of problems, weren't he?
I think people forget that when a footballer comes into a new division, a new country. It's not just him we've got to worry about, it's his family life, and all those things take a toll. And, once he settles down and things start looking up, then, he can concentrate on his football. And I suppose we're seeing that now to an extent. He's become a much better player over the last couple of weeks, and hopefully he kicks on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it'll be a good asset to us if he keeps performing like that from now to the end of the season. And Dabo's got to come back, so he might have a run on his for the
bit of a
place.
tussle for that place, which is good. Competition's good, isn't it? That's what we want.
Absolutely, yeah. Competition's what we need, and we haven't got a strong enough squad as it is. So once we start getting a few injuries, through the injured players back to fitness, then I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay this year. I really do. I think we'll finish simply because I think there's a lot more worse teams than us in this division. I think there's at least another 4 or 5 teams worse than us in this division.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think we'll stay up.
Right, ever the optimist, Ken. Thanks for joining us
Cheers,
on
Cheers,
SkyBlues
chaps.
Extra Live.
Thank you.
And we'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Right, Ross, we'll start to wrap things up now on SkyBlues Extra Live. Our final question to you is, what kind of changes would you make for the Cardiff game then, if any?
Well, let's assume Da Costa's okay to start. I think I'd go with the box again. I think I would. I think I'd play the same team. I think if everyone's fit, because we've got a whole week, haven't we? There's no midweek fixture.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I think the only changes are whether anyone could, if Walker or someone could make it onto the bench or something. In terms of starting 11, Sheaf will probably be back in the squad, I assume. I'd go the same again. I'd go the same again. How about you, man?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is Sheaf will probably come back in. Allen will drop out. Hamer will push further forward. That'd be the only change I could envisage happening. Although I would like to see Big Vic play, just because I think Cardiff are a bit more of a physical side.
They are.
Than most teams in this division, and another presence up there with Biamu, who let's be honest, he's running on absolute empty at the moment, where wouldn't go amiss to have another big bloke up there.
I agree, and defending set pieces and corners is going to be absolutely vital. We're going to have to stand up to the challenge again. My question I wanted to ask you actually was on McCallum. What did you make of his performance today?
I think he slowly grew into it. I think his confidence is shot, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't seem to be the same player he was last year. Now, whether that's because he has signed for a new club and, for all intents and purposes, they don't actually want him, it seems. But now they've signed another left back. I think that's probably affected him. His parent club probably want him at their club, which is odd, because why would you sign somebody and not utilize them? So I think that's probably affected him a little bit. But he got into the game a bit more slowly today.
He defended well. I mean, before the kickoff, when you're thinking it's McCallum versus Sarr, you're thinking, I was like,
Sarr wasn't in it.
It wasn't in it at all. Not at all. And I think we dealt with their threats. It was literally dealt with their threats, didn't we? From start to finish. It's just we know what McCallum's capable of doing. And it always feels like this season we've either been really good on the left and the right's not been there. We've only been able to have one channel. You want to have both of them. You
look at last season. One of the positives that both wings were on fire in that last season.
It was like the symmetry was great. I mean, the one thing I didn't miss today, today I saw happen today, which I haven't missed, was that Morosi kick out to McCallum and we lose it and it goes out for a throw-in. How many times does that happen? I don't remember that happening with Ben Wilson. I just remember him just used to hoof it up.
Just get rid, sometimes just got to get rid of it. Go route one, clear your lines, reset, pick up the second ball, and we go again.
Because we just literally gift them a throw-in in our half. We literally gift them the ball, and McCallum won't win the header, and you can just see it from a mile off. You just think, why do we keep persisting with the same thing? But it was good performance, something to build on.
Absolutely, and build on it we will. Ross, thank you once again for your input as ever. Really enjoyed the chat this afternoon. Hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the day and the results will go our way.
What are your plans? You got a beer in the fridge?
No beers today. Probably another cup of tea. Probably watch the rugby, and that'll be it. I'll make it fajitas tonight if anyone's
Oh.
interested.
Oh, very
There
nice.
you go.
Spicy.
Oh yeah, no, a bit of barbecue fajitas. I think. I'll put a picture on Twitter for everybody. The new chef.
The new chef. The people on Twitter will love it. Dave Moore was put a picture of him cooking, and he was tuning into Sky Blues Extra Live. So maybe he's a bit of a chef. I don't know.
Secret chef.
Is he?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Podcast Monday. New release of the podcast will sum up both the Forest games and today's game in a little bit more detail for everybody. That'll be out on Monday at some time. Sky Blues Extra Live will be back next week. Probably us two again, since it's a Saturday. We love Saturdays. Hopefully,
the main men on the weekend.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Hopefully, you can join us, and we'll see you then. Ross, thanks very much.
Cheers, Dino.
Play up Sky Blues.